Hello, how are ya? I'm good, thanks. Hey, just want to do an update on the Wells Fargo announcement last week that they come out and did. I believe it was on Thursday, um, here in January of 2023. Anyway, all the news anchors and all the news blah 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 across the nation picked that up, and by 10 o'clock Thursday night I twisted it into a pretty good story. So I wanted to dive into that and let you know my feelings and how it's going to affect us locally, and even in the state of Wyoming, or nationwide. So I want to dive into that and just share my 2 cents for what it's worth. First of all, here locally, I can't remember the last time I did a Wells Fargo loan with a customer. So is it going to have an effect on us locally? I doubt it. The mortgage department here, Northeast Wyoming, was not strong at all. Maybe they picked up some loans on the secondary market, and we're servicing those loans that were put together by other loan originators, but I'm here to tell you, I can't remember. I bet it's been 8 years, maybe 6, but I bet 8 years since last time I worked with a Wells Fargo mortgage lender here locally. Second, I can't even tell you the last time I sent in a payoff request to a Wells Fargo customer. We've sold a lot of properties the last few years, and I'm here to tell you, not a one of those was a Wells Fargo payoff. So that tells me they're not super strong in Northeast Wyoming, so I'm not super worried about their big announcement last week about they're getting out of the mortgage business and the real estate market's going to crash and blah blah blah. That was more about timing on their end. My personal feeling, it's a corporate move, typical corporate move. We've seen it with other corporations locally and nationally. I think this is just another one of those moves where it's an attempt to clean house. They're going to get rid of their high income earners. You think about this, their loan origination folks, their underwriters, their processors. You take away the mortgage world, and pretty soon you've cleaned up your balance sheet of high income earners. And now all of a sudden, if you're in trouble a little bit financially, you've just freed up a lot of money that you're not going to pay somebody to work for you. So I think there's a partialness here that none of us are ever going to see outside the boardroom of Wells Fargo, but I want you to think about that concept for a second and really see or feel a little bit about how that would affect their financial statement. I truly believe there's a little bit of that going on. The other thing that most folks don't think about is, what if the possibility exists that Wells Fargo's tapped out and they can't get any more money? They can't borrow no more money from the Federal Reserve. Let's face it, 2020 with the Rona pandemic, or not, I'm not going to call it a pandemic, but the Rona baloney that went on. People went out and got low interest loans. Money was flooding the streets. It was growing on trees. Every bank was loaning money if they had money to loan at low interest rates. And then the economy took off. And then the Fed steps in and starts raising the prime interest rate. Now all of a sudden, you've got banks have low interest earning loans. That money's tied up on the loan provided to said customer, and now they can't make the income that they can at 5, 6, 7%. They're tied down at 2 or 3 or 4% on those 30-year or 15-year or 20-year mortgages. I'm here to tell you, they're looking at the bottom line and saying, there's some bleeding going on here. We're not making as fast income as we need to keep up with the times. So I think there's a little bit of timing here, and the possibility exists that, I'm just going to throw that out there. I know other banks have this problem right now. They are tapped out. You have to have so much in assets within the four walls of a bank to be able to loan out so many other assets. It's like a 1-to-7 or 1-to-8 ratio. It depends on the bank and the size of the bank and some other terms. But I'm here to tell you, if they have $1 in the bank, they can loan $7 back out, or $8, or whatever their situation may be. At some point, there's a tap out. Maybe Wells Fargo's there, and they're blaming the real estate business on that right now. Of, oh, interest rates are high, and using that excuse, and now there isn't near the buyer interaction, and then now there's going to be a crash. Like, it's a news spin. Come on, it ain't all just what they're saying. So read into the fine print a little bit. That's all I'm suggesting here. I don't claim to know because I'm not inside the boardroom of Wells Fargo. I'm just suggesting you think outside the box a little bit and really kind of grasp the timing of this. Like, it's a new year, it's January, yeah, interest rates, mortgage interest rates went up to in between the 7 and 8 range last year. And then they calmed back down because buyers said, whoa, no thanks. Now we're in between the 5s and the high 5s and the mid 6s. As a lender, that's a prime opportunity. Like, now all of a sudden the loan world is balanced out, historically speaking. We're still below the 30-year average. Still a healthy economy. So think about the timing of their announcement here. Will it have an effect nationwide? Yeah, absolutely. Wells Fargo is like the #2 player in the space, or 3, I don't know, but they're in the top 5. Let's just give that top 5. Will it have a small effect nationwide? The answer is absolutely it will. But it's also going to allow for some smaller players to step into the space where Wells Fargo was out competing them for one reason or another. It's going to create opportunity. Think about the opportunity that's coming down the pipeline for other investors, other banks, other corporates. So I see the glass half full on this deal. If Wells Fargo doesn't want in, so be it. I guarantee they'll be back in a few years, and all of us will have forgotten this unless we document it right now. So yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts with you a little bit, and challenge you to think about the timing of all this, because I think it's a little strange, and I'm going to call it out on the Wells Fargo side, and I'm not going to run in fear. Like, this deal ain't scary to me whatsoever. So anyway, if you like what we have to say or want to stay connected, ring the bell, toot the horn, like, share, do whatever we got to do to keep you informed here. But just wanted to share my 2 cents. I'm Jason Walker. I'm out. Thanks.